Wildlife is not just part of our world; it is our world. Yes, do you agree with that, sir?
I agree absolutely.
And so today we'll be diving into the aspect of wildlife and ecotourism. Yes, that's the topic for today on Talk Your Mind. And I won't be doing this alone. I have with me Mr. Chidubem Okolie. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm very glad to be with you today.
Yeah. So let my audience meet you more. Let's.
Okay, my name is Chidubem Okolie. I studied wildlife and ecotourism from the University of Ibadan with a first class honors.
First class.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. So I also have a master's in wildlife with a bias for wildlife genetics.
Sorry, why wildlife?
Okay, why
wildlife?
Why wildlife was this? A long story. Okay. And I'm sure you want to hear the story.
Of course.
What really happened was that when I gained admission, the year I gained admission, I wanted to study medicine and surgery. Okay. But when I scored over close to 300 in JAM.
Really?
Yes. So when I applied for medicine, University of Benin, that year my friend called me. In fact, he came to my house, one of my students, because I was teaching JAM class. I was also writing JAM. Yeah. So he came to my place and said, Mr. Chidubem, I heard that NUC did not accredit Uniben for medicine and surgery that year.
At that time.
So you may not be giving medicine and surgery. You may be diverted into other departments like science, laboratory, technology, or something like biochemistry. So immediately I heard that, I said, wow. So I had to change the institution and I went to University of Ibadan. But at that time, there was a way University of Ibadan did that they combined your JAM with your O-level, then divide it. In fact, they gave 60% to your O-level and 40% to JAM. So that really brought down the...
So you couldn't get admission.
So what I did was I had to just switch. But I really was not too inquisitive, or let me say, I was not very, very a diehard of medicine. I just wanted to study anything that has life. And there's life in wildlife.
There's life in wildlife.
Right.
So, what is wildlife in its aspect? What's wildlife?
See, wildlife. When you say wildlife, the original mentality of many people is lion and tiger. Yeah. No, that's not wildlife.
The people are used to Nigel Wild, so that's
in fact, some of the things we watch on Nigel Wild are not carried out by professionals.
Really?
They are just nature enthusiasts. They are not really professionals. Sometimes when they call in an animal, they call it by the common name. But we in science, we don't refer to animals with their common name or even living things. We prefer using the scientific name because there are many common names that may even be misunderstood. I can call a common name of an animal here, and it may be a common name for another type of animal somewhere in Japan or in England. In fact,
sorry, this is not the same animal in Nigeria that they have in Japan and other part of the world.
Common name now. Common names are given by a group of people that just felt, okay, let's name this that. For example, let me use a fruit, raspberry. Raspberry is a fruit that, of course, science will know that there are different species of raspberry. So the raspberry here in Africa may not be the same raspberry in England, but they call them raspberry. But when you call it by the scientific name, let's have Terminalia catapa, you know this is Indian animal you are referring to, and it's generally accepted all over the world.
So we've not forgotten the meaning of wildlife.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yes. No, wildlife refers to all living organisms that are not directly under the control of man. In other words, any living organism that you are not taking care of in their feeding, reproduction, shelter, and what have you, you refer to them as wild. Now, in context, I'm not saying that you see a domestic fowl that is roaming around, then it's a wildlife. No. We are referring to organisms, both plant and animal, that are not under the direct control of humans. So they are usually in the natural environment, what we call wild. That word wild is actually natural environment.
So what about ecotourism? Okay,
ecotourism is born out of wildlife management because ecotourism is coined from the word ecology and tourism. So it's talking about tourism to natural environment, because we have normal tourism whereby you go to amusement park, you go to places like tourist centers too. But in this time, in this light, you are going to natural environment, you are going to places like the protected area like games reserve, Yankari and the like. So that's the major difference between ecological tourism and just mass tourism to places like
let's look at wildlife management in Nigeria.
Okay, are you looking at it from the perspective?
Let's look at the problem that they're facing, because I feel that wildlife aspect in Nigeria as a context is not really, not really value or not look into. So what are the possible problems that wildlife management might be facing?
One of the major problems I would sincerely want to talk about is the rural area apathy towards wildlife conservation. And also, I think the inadequate funding by the government. Usually many people prefer crude oil because quick access to resources, you quickly go and refine it and you have your money in millions. But in wildlife, they look at the direct economic benefit, like how does this help our economy in terms of our GDP? Does it bring millions? And they want the millions in a short time. But the truth is that if all the nature has wiped out, there will be no living thing. There will not be human being itself. So, of course, there are other benefits wildlife can give. For example, one of the benefits is ecological tourism. If you go to Kenya today, their largest export is tourism. They don't have as much natural resources as we have, but 70% of their GDP is coming from tourism. You are not even allowed to kill any animal moving through your doorstep. You are allowed to go because they know this is where they get their money from.
As in Kenya.
I'm telling you, you will see some animals and you just say, wow, you just wave at them and they go their way because they know the value. Because visitors come, the white they come there in summer and they just relax. They view the animals, they take pictures and they go and they pay millions. So it's a good
so what
thing.
was the sustainability way that this thing can be controlled?
One of the ways is more or less like enlightenment. We call it wildlife extension, wildlife education. Try to teach people, like I'm doing now, on the benefit of wildlife. Generally, there are so many benefits of wildlife. There's consumptive utilization and there is what non-consumptive. For example, who eat wildlife? You say don't eat bush meat is lean meat. If you compare bush meat with your red meat, red meat is high in cholesterol, but your lean meat, the meat from wild animals, is low in cholesterol and is healthy. Compared to the ones you don't know where they come from, there's so much quantity of fat and it's even causing problems like stroke, like high blood pressure, like even cardiac arrest. But your wildlife, not the endangered species, please, because sometimes you just go and you kill. No, you have to be sure that this species is a least concerned species that you can really readily kill and with license anyway. But people don't need license. They don't use our licenses. What they do is that they poach. Poach is illegal hunting. So they go into the protected area with guns and they shoot down animals. Sometimes not even for food. You just see an animal dead, like an elephant, Zoodontata africana, and you observe that the tox is chopped off. And why is it chopped off? They want to go and sell it for monetary gain. And the animal is gone. And it takes 22 months for you to
have. Don't you think creating awareness too is also part of it?
Exactly, I believe so.
Because I won't wake up one morning and say I want to go and study wildlife in school. When I know that the country where I'm coming from doesn't really appreciate that kind of thing. Don't you think creating more awareness can also help in sustaining the wildlife and ecotourism?
Yes, I truly believe. In fact, I was just clamoring for a ministry of course, there's a ministry of natural resources, but I believe they should carve out a ministry for wildlife. Because wildlife is vast.
Well, let me ask this one question. As someone that studied wildlife, when you say lion coming now and so on, will you stand? Do you know how to approach the lion? How to turn it down? So or you will run for your life?
Nice question. I think I will come from this perspective. The father of wildlife management in sub-Saharan Africa actually is the founder of my department, Professor Emeritus S.S. Ajayi. He told my teacher, he said, usually when you encounter a wild animal, your first instinct is to run, right?
Not to
run. But usually when you run, you are sending a signal of fear to the animal. And in response, it will attack you. So, but wildlife naturally will not go for humans. I'm not saying there are no exceptional cases whereby they are hungry or starved, then they will see human being and kill. But on a normal basis, when you encounter a wild animal like the lion and the like, you quickly give your distance. Probably you keep an eye contact most times, but some people are afraid to do that. They just run.
It means you're telling me that you will not run. You keep eye contact.
See. Let me be practical here. I'm not saying that. There are some animals that have had access to human blood.
Okay.
Those ones who kill. I'm saying the ones in the wild that have never come in contact with human blood, because when they have come in contact with human blood, they know that you are a good meal. But the ones in the wild, all they are fed up is corpse.
I will run.
Okay.
Yeah, I will run.
I may. But if I observe it in the wild, I've encountered some animals in the wild. I've encountered hippo in the wild.
Yes. You don't run.
Why will I run? I've encountered hippo in the wild. So I didn't run. I only gave my safe distance. What is called flight distance. Flight distance, there's what is called safe, your distance between you and the wild animal. At least you keep a considerate distance. You don't approach it. It will look as a threat. So when you give a safe distance, the animal goes its way, you go your way. And
Let's talk about the ecotourism destinations in Nigeria. Does it have any?
We do numerous.
So
We have.
can you
a lot.
mention about a few?
Okay. I'll give you some that are very, very impressive. Many of them are impressive. We have the Budukatu Ranch
Okay.
in Cross River State. We have the Yankari Games Reserve in Bauchi State. We have the other national parks now. There are about 17 in number. I have been to at least 4. I've been to Odoyo National Park. We have a vast array of wildlife. Different animals of your choice, you will see them there. You understand? We have in Kanji Lake National Park. We also have in Okomo National Park. In fact, in Okomo is in Edo State. In Okomo National Park, we have an endemic species that is not found anywhere in the world, the white-throated monkey.
In Nigeria, here.
Nigeria. I'm saying it because it's important we know. An animal that you can't find anywhere in the world but in Nigeria is found in our national
Learning
park.
this for the very first time.
Yes.
Okay, now let me ask this now. Talking about the how to develop the ecotourism sector in Nigeria. If you have been made Minister of Wildlife and Ecotourism, blah blah blah, so what's the first thing you would do to develop that sector?
Knowledge is key. And they say knowledge is power.
Yeah.
I will infuse knowledge into the population of Nigeria on the importance of conserving wildlife. That's the first, because conservation of wildlife is not just the responsibility of the rangers, it is our own corporate responsibility. So the first thing I'll do is to maybe enlighten the people. Then there are other things I'll put in place to ensure that wild animals are protected, because usually when people are poor, the next option they have is to go to the wild and kill. Just killed and they are displaying for you to buy. Yes, and many of them are endangered species. We don't have up to 100 of them in the wild, and yet they are killing it and selling it. So I will ensure that poaching is at least, if not eradicated, but brought down to the barest minimum. And with that, there are other things we will do. As
so is climate change issues also affecting the ecotourism system?
Yes, it is. Climate change, as you say, over time, the ambient environmental parameters change. For example, of course, if you observe, this is October and there's still rainfall. For my study, I know towards September ending, you should be having your dry season till October, but these things happen because of anthropogenic activities. You see a lot of bush burning, gas flaring, even depleting the ozone layer. And with that, it will affect even the wild. See, some animals are supposed to even taking, they are not even conceiving because of the phenology of the environment. You see our desert encroachment and desertification. You see a land that is fertile, once fertile, becoming a barren land, and animals cannot even survive. So definitely, if there are no animals, there will be no need for ecotourism. Because people want to see games, wild animals. But the environment has been dilapidated and there is no place again
I
to
believe
view
the
animals.
audience are learning. Let's go on a commercial break. We'll be right back for the Talk Your Mind section properly. Welcome back. So this is the Talk Your Mind section. There are a few questions here, so you just pick 2 questions, one at a time. Then any question you see there, you have to talk your mind.
All right, I will.
So are we good to go?
Okay, so I can just pick any, right?
Any, yes.
Okay.
And you give it to me to read.
All right.
Okay, let's see. That's what we have here. Okay. Okay, this one says, if you are given a chance to go back to university, what would you have done better to change the system?
You mean changing the university system?
Yes.
In the form of the organogram, how they do things, or myself
you
change.
Said you went to University of
Ibadan. Yes.
But I think there are some things there that you maybe might not like, or that's going wrong there. So what are those things you feel you can change?
Can I say this in public? Because there are things that you may not want to say in public, but the system, not just University of Ibadan, is a general stuff. Strikes. A program that should take 4 years, sometimes take 6 years.
Okay. Let's say you are trying to curtail what you want to say because of you are in public.
Even at that, I was on a scholarship for my master's. Yeah, all stipend paid. But when COVID set in 2019-20, I was not being able to be paid. And imagine you have to be paid a personal amount and you want to use it for your research, for your project, and it was not forthcoming. So I had to, some of these things, when you have assigned a money for so and so thing, there's no how you tell me you don't have those resources. So it's not little issues of leadership that I observed that they didn't keep to their word in terms of.
Okay, let's go for the second one.
The stipend. Right,
the stipend was a problem then.
At least that will help me to carry out my research.
Okay, this sounds very interesting. Stop talking to your siblings or 1 million naira.
Stop talking to my siblings or 1 million naira. That's less than $1,000. So what's 1 million? Even if it is $1 billion, you can stop talking to my siblings. In other words, you are saying, and that's the problem I've observed with this generation. The material things take preeminence over bond. I will not trade my siblings for even $1 million. Why? Because at the end of the day, if I have $1 million, I'm the only one on planet Earth. What are I going to use it to do? And they say family is everything, isn't it? So I'll take my family over any other thing.
So even if they're giving like maybe 100 billion,
see, there are some things that are deal breakers. Stop talking to my siblings forever. Is that not it?
Yes.
So in other words, if they are sick, I don't care. I don't want to know.
Have you made like $1 million?
$1 million.
Have you made?
I would like to make. I'm on my way to make.
And someone is offering you $1 million not to talk to your siblings again. Don't see that an opportunity to
see. So at the end of the day, there are two ways to get to the top.
Okay.
You can get to the top by stabbing people, shedding blood, and you can get to the top with humility. If you go to the top by shedding blood, by the time you are looking down, all you say are blood, and that's the joy of what you have achieved will be taken away by the blood. That's the problem many people have. There are rich people that are crying in their rooms because they know how they got to the top was through shedding the blood of their friends and loved ones. So what's the joy in my family? Go your way. $1 million is more important than you. No, I don't.
It's a question.
So. I don't.
Let me ask. You said you got to your BSc Masters.
Yes.
Are you planning for your PhD as well?
Absolutely. Yes, I am.
Same thing with going for wildlife as well.
This time is wildlife, but it's a specialty, genetics. I have a flair for genetics. You understand? And that's what I did for my masters. So I'll work on genetics of wildlife population, because usually you see some animal species that look so close to each other and you may think this is the same as this and you call them, let's say, baboons. But genetics have shown us that two similar animals physically may be different genetically. So I'm interested in that differences. And if the difference is large enough, we may even separate them into different species. So this may be called baboon, this may be called something else. And it's the job of a geneticist now, because we have gone beyond.
We used to do it in the University of Ibadan.
I can't say. I never say never, but I know it's possible I may do it there, it's possible I may not do it there.
So if you had to choose any university of your choice to do your PhD, which university will you pick?
Okay. In 2018, when I finished, I was going for my master's then. There's this course in Cambridge, Masters in Conservation Leadership. So I'm interested in that course. Cambridge, Cambridge and Oxford, Oxbridge are the two oldest universities in England. Yeah. So Cambridge, beautiful university. I would like to go there. Yeah, Cambridge.
All right, thanks very much. I think we've had it quite awesome time together and we've learned a lot. I really appreciate you for coming today. We've come to the end of today's episode on Talk Your Mind. I'll see you next time. I remain with Happy Success and our guest, Chidubem Okolie.
All right, thank you very much for having me.